Today our topic is how to stop comparing yourself to others. Comparing yourself to others is something we all do. It's natural. From the time we are children, we look at others and see what they have, what they do, or how they look, and we start to compare. But this habit can make us feel bad about ourselves. It can make us feel like we are not good enough, like we are failing, or like we will never be as good as someone else. The truth is, comparing yourself to others is not helpful. It doesn't make you better. It doesn't make you happier. In fact, it often makes things worse. So, how can we stop doing this? How can we focus on ourselves and stop worrying about what others are doing? Let's talk about this step by step. First, it's important to understand why we compare ourselves to others. One reason is that we live in a world where we see so much of other people's lives. Social media, for example, shows us the best moments of other people's lives. We see their vacations, their achievements, their happy moments. But we don't see the struggles, the hard work, or the challenges they face. This can make us feel like everyone else has a perfect life, while we are struggling. But this is not true. Everyone has problems. Everyone has challenges. The difference is that we only see the good parts of other people's lives, but we see all parts of our own lives, including the bad ones. So, the first step to stop comparing yourself to others is to remember that what you see is not the whole picture. What you see is just a small part of someone's life, and it's often the best part. Another reason we compare ourselves to others is because we want to feel good about ourselves. We want to feel like we are doing well, like we are successful, like we are enough. But when we compare ourselves to others, we are not really looking at ourselves. We are looking at someone else and trying to measure our worth based on their life. This is not fair to us. Each person is different. Each person has their own path, their own journey, their own strengths, and their own weaknesses. Comparing yourself to someone else is like comparing an apple to an orange. They are different, and that's okay. You don't have to be like someone else to be valuable. You are valuable just as you are. So how can we stop comparing ourselves to others? One way is to focus on your own journey. Instead of looking at what others are doing, look at what you are doing. What are your goals? What are your dreams? What steps are you taking to achieve them? When you focus on your own path, you stop worrying about what others are doing. You start to see your own progress, your own growth, and your own achievements. This can help you feel more confident and more satisfied with your life. Another way to stop comparing yourself to others is to practice gratitude. Gratitude means being thankful for what you have. When you focus on what you are grateful for, you stop thinking about what you don't have. You start to see the good things in your life, and this can help you feel more content. For example, instead of thinking, "I wish I had a bigger house like my friend," you can think, "I'm grateful for the home I have, because it keeps me safe and warm." Gratitude helps you focus on the positive things in your life, and this can make you feel happier and more at peace. It's also important to remember that everyone has their own struggles. When you see someone who seems to have a perfect life, remember that they have challenges too. Maybe they are dealing with something difficult that you don't know about. Maybe they are working hard to overcome their own problems. No one's life is perfect. Everyone has ups and downs. So, instead of comparing yourself to others, try to be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself. Understand that you are doing your best, and that's enough. Another helpful tip is to limit your time on social media. As I mentioned earlier, social media can make us feel like everyone else is doing better than us. But this is not true. Social media only shows the highlights of people's lives, not the everyday struggles. If you spend too much time on social media, it can make you feel like you are not good enough. So, try to limit your time on these platforms. Instead, spend time doing things that make you happy, like reading a book, going for a walk, or spending time with loved ones. This can help you feel more connected to yourself, and less connected to what others are doing. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, can also help us stop comparing ourselves to others. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot control. Comparing ourselves to others is something we cannot control. We cannot control what others do or how they live their lives. But we can control how we respond to it. We can choose to focus on our own life, our own goals, and our own happiness. Stoicism also teaches us to accept things as they are. Instead of wishing we were like someone else, we can accept ourselves as we are. This doesn't mean we stop trying to improve. It just means we stop feeling bad about ourselves because we are not like someone else. Another important idea from Stoicism is to focus on virtue. Virtue means being a good person, doing the right thing, and living with integrity. When we focus on being virtuous, we stop worrying about what others are doing. We focus on being the best version of ourselves. This can help us feel more confident and more at peace. So, instead of comparing yourself to others, ask yourself, am I being a good person? Am I doing the right thing? Am I living with integrity? These questions can help you focus on what really matters. Finally, remember that life is not a competition. You don't have to be better than someone else to be happy. You don't have to have more than someone else to be successful. Life is about finding your own path, your own purpose, and your own happiness. When you stop comparing yourself to others, you give yourself the freedom to live your life the way you want to. You give yourself the freedom to be yourself. And that is the most important thing. In conclusion, comparing yourself to others is a habit that can make you feel bad about yourself. But it's a habit you can change. By focusing on your own journey, practicing gratitude, being kind to yourself, limiting your time on social media, and following the principles of Stoicism, you can stop comparing yourself to others and start living a happier, more fulfilling life. Remember, you are enough just as you are. You don't have to be like anyone else. Your life is your own, and it's up to you to make it the best it can be. So, stop comparing, start living, and be proud of who you are.